This is not a dream.
Phil walks the tree line when the sun goes down. Boots in the gravel on the edge of town. Backpack rattles with a lantern and a map, looking for the things that never make the trap. Old folks whisper when they see him pass. Boys been chasing shadows in the midnight grass. But Phil just smiles at the cold night air, 'cause something out there knows he's there. In the rustle of leaves, in the creak of the pine, in the fog where the footprints twist the line. He's the Dogman, Teepee hunter, roving through the night, chasing ghostly echoes in the pale moonlight. From forgotten forests to the deserts deep, where the old bones hide and the spirits creep. With a camera and courage and a trail to see, he'll follow any legend through eternity. Yeah, the world's full of whispers most folks never see, but they all know Phil. He slept in ruins where the cold winds cry. Watch strange lights dancing in a cold black sky. Track bent branches where the tall grass sways. Heard something breathing in the forest haze. Every dusty road and every haunted bed holds another secret he's about to defend. And when the fire burns low and the coyotes sing, you can bet he's hunting something strange again. free.
Hey, what do? Welcome to Friday Night Files. Pleased you could make it. Hope you've had a great week. I've had a brilliant week. Well, been at work, but yeah, it's okay. It's all right. You know, I've had worse weeks, put it that way. I had worse weeks. So, but other than that, done a lot of research because we've got a investigation coming up. An investigation is at a wonderful place, Rendlesham Forest. Yeah, the 1980 Colonel Halt interaction with UFOs that he had, that you saw there. So we're going to be talking about Rendlesham Forest, a little bit about Orford Ness as well, because they were very close by. They were messing around with radar, specialist type of radar. So, but this is all in and around us going, and you basically, because we're going to be with Matt Gribben and with Chris Mechen, who are on this program. Going to be bringing them on in a minute or two, and they are renowned British CE5 advocates. So it's the first time for Natalie and myself that will be going on a CE5 UFO hunt, basically, investigation. So it's good to get some background. I really don't know an awful lot about CE5 at all. So first of all, I'm going to bring on the golden goddess of YouTube, Natalie, the co-host. There we go. Let's get her up. Hello, Nat.
I come in peace.
You come in peace. Yes. Yeah.
At least to start off with.
Yeah, I've done a few polls as well for this show.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be going out in peace, I know that.
Right.
Not after you see the poll. No, definitely not.
Oh dear, I don't know if I dare ask. I feel distinctly
Honestly,
nervous
brilliant.
now.
Honestly, it's going to be so much fun for me.
Yeah. I need to seal myself, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun for me, not for you, for me. Yeah. But other than that, no, it's great. And people at home, I think they'll have a giggle as well. This is what this show is going to be all about, isn't it, really, Natalie? It's like, because you haven't been on a CE5 investigation, have you?
No, I've avoided aliens as much as possible up to this point.
Yeah.
So I suppose it was inevitable. It was going to happen at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's it exactly. You know, it's Have you had any lights in the sky or anything like that? And I don't mean that you've had too many creme de menthe on the way back from a goth get together.
No, I've never had classical UFO I don't know what the word is, interventions or interactions, or I've never seen lights in the sky. I have dealt with greys or something similar to greys, but that was like on a healing level because they were interfering with my horses and me at one point a little bit, and I kept having dreams where they were trying to shapeshift, but I wasn't very good at it. And I think they gave up after a while. And then someone said to me, a MUFON guy said, oh, that's them trying to teach you how to do the out of body thing. And I said, well, I wasn't very good because when I shapeshifted into an owl, I couldn't fly. So I think they gave up on the idea.
Do you know sometimes when you regret asking someone, I honestly didn't know you had so much going on. I just thought, see lights in the sky. But now you're talking about grey aliens and interacting with horses and.
Yeah, no, I had dreamed that my horses got abducted, and one of my horses was tangling himself up in the fence and untangling himself, like saying, I can get myself in and out of this well easy, I've been here before. And the other one went skits about being on the on the vessel, and I went up there to go and get them back, and they were, I think they were Nordics on there actually, not Greys, with that one. They wouldn't let me take the horses back, and they wouldn't explain to me what was going on. And one of them was like, "We need to explain to her what's going on." And I was like, "Yeah." And when they wouldn't, I got that angry. I just took my horses away.
Right.
But yeah, and that's when I started having the shape-shifting dream things going on. And then somebody said afterwards that's them attempting to sort of like get you into the sort of zone for that kind of thing. So I like I say, I must have, it never crossed my mind before, because it was owls, wasn't it? Because there is a correlation between owls and UFOs.
Yeah. I want to dive into that a little bit with the
Yeah.
owls business.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
they tried to get me shapeshift into an owl, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't fly more than about a foot off the ground. I was really bad at it. Then they tried to shapeshift me into a panther, and I couldn't do that. They went over the boundary, and I couldn't go over the boundary. So I think I narrowly missed. I think they gave up after that.
well, haven't
But
I
yeah.
opened up a hornet? I've really opened up a hornet's nest here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I never connected it until the MUFON guy said to me, the shape-shifting thing is what they do. And I was like, I had problems, like I say, on the healing level. I'd removed like astral implants and hypnotic suggestions. And when I went down one path trying to deal with another completely different entity, I was trying to find like solutions to it. And I this is why I called them bad white lighters, because they were hiding in the white light. And I sort of asked Jesus and Mary for help, and they were like, "We'll help you, but it's us or nobody else." And I was like, "Well, if you're cutting me off from my other sources of help, then the answer's no." Then they got very, 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 very angry with me, and then hammered me for a few weeks until I figured out how to deal with them. But yeah, so I call them bad white lighters now, which is why you use the word golden, not white, because I won't use white light in healing now, because they hide in it. So that's so. And if you actually look at halos, most halos in art are actually shown as gold, not white. So I don't actually know if that's a very subtle bait and twist. What's it? A bait and switch on the part of whatever entities are behind the white light thing, because they can hide in it. But I've not found that they can hide in the gold light yet, or I've not found anything hiding in gold light yet. So
you saying that, if I start clearing my throat a little bit, because it's I'm probably under spiritual attack at the moment. I feel really quite sort of like that I have for a couple of days, a bit sort of like kind of don't have an awful lot of energy, and which is unusual for me. Usually I'm sort of buzzing, my legs are blur, but yeah, hitting the ground running usually, on my butt. But churches normally, the decor of an old church years ago, when the churches were done, the decor was gold, painted gold inside, very bright colors, funny enough, actually, inside churches. Very
yeah.
very bright and springtime kind of colors, but a lot of gold going around, which would give, with light coming in, would give that golden glow, which would eradicate, as you say, any entities that were lying around. Should we get Chris and Matt on to join the conversation?
Yeah, we can do. It's like saved me talking myself into a corner.
No, it's great. We're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to because I like the idea of you turning into an owl. I like that. Right, first
I didn't. Can't fly.
Yeah. All right. Let's get. Funny enough, I've been talking about owls with somebody just recently, only last night. Funny enough. Right. Okay. Let's get Chris up. Hello, Chris.
Hey,
and we've got Matt as well. Hello, Matt.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah,
very well. You all right? Hi, Matt. You all right?
You're all right, Chris. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you guys for joining us. For everyone at home, when we go on our Rendlesham CE5 meet, then it's these two guys, Matt and Chris, that are going to be leaders. They're going to be the ones showing us how things are done. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some results. I've got a telescope I'm bringing, Chris.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I've never been to Rendlesham. I don't know in the woods if you've got clearings in the woods where you.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
Oh,
there
you
is.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that.
Funny enough,
really
where we're
good.
going, where we're staying, there's a clearing right nearby.
Ah, that'd be
Yeah.
really good. That'd be really good.
So that's quite handy, isn't it? So yeah, with Matt, you're also you. How long have you been doing CE5 for? You know,
I'll say about 5 years now. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
In fact, I think next week will be 5 years since I had a very close encounter. Yeah. So yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a coincidence and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it happens every year, but
is that the first encounter you had, Matt? Is that the first encounter you had in your life?
The first that I knew was a close encounter. Yeah, once I'd had that, then other encounters, you know, lights I'd seen in the sky and things like that that are just written off to prosaic reasons. Yeah, but yeah, it was very close encounter. It was like sort of 10, 15 feet. There was two of them within 5 minutes of each other. So it was very sort of rude, stark awakening to this whole UFO subject. Yeah.
All right, spill the beans, Matt. Come on, what was it? What did you say?
What did I see? Well, I saw a lot that day. I mean, the whole thing happened over about a 30-minute period. I was in Hyde Park. I'd been in the park the day before and videoed a strange object in the sky, which seemed to come apart, go back together. It was very, very weird. I was going back into the park the next day, and I had a feeling that something else was going to happen as well. As I walked into the park, I noticed this small aeroplane going around in circles. Now that's a whole other story, but I do believe that aeroplane did witness the events. But yeah, I walked into the park and I saw the same object again. Maybe a couple of thousand feet in the air, just going across West London. Very strange. It seemed to be made of plasma rather than a solid object. And because of what had happened the day before, I knew instantly I was in the middle of a UFO event. Yeah. That thought flashed across my mind. This is a UFO. I'm now witnessing a UFO in the sky. I just knew that instantly. After that had happened, that lasted about 4.5 minutes. Continued on my walk through the park, and mind my own business. Had some headphones on like this, just listening to some tunes or something. It may have even been a CE5 type meditation. I can't quite remember. And I was just confronted about 15 feet off the ground. 15 feet in front of me was a craft. It was a white sphere, about 10, 15 feet across. And behind that was a oval rugby ball shaped part of the craft. It looked like an ant's head, maybe an ant body, say, you know, to give it some kind of reference. You know, these two conjoined shapes. It was bright white, and yeah, it was just there in front of me, and we just stood staring at each other for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, and I was just thinking, what the hell is going on? But having what had previously happened. I kind of knew, obviously, there's some kind of UFO. And then I just thought nobody's going to believe me. So my instinct was to record the event. I reached for my phone in my front pocket of my jeans, and it just wouldn't dislodge. I just could not get that phone out of my pocket. And then in order to try and get that out, I had to look down quickly like this. It split a split second, and as soon as I looked back up, the craft had gone. Several minutes after that, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I was walking through the park thinking, wow, that was amazing. That was just nuts. All kinds of thoughts going through my head. But I was quite cool with it. And but I had this burning feeling that I was being followed. So I turned around, and there was a metallic sphere about the size of a large beach ball. Maybe, same again, 15 feet off the ground, 10 feet in front of me again. Pretty much very similar scenario happened. We stood there kind of staring at each other. Me not really knowing what to do again. Thought was, well, this is insane, but I need to record this. And again, reached for my phone. Again, wouldn't come out my pocket. And I think there was a reason for that looking back, but as soon as I put my head down to pull it out, the object again just disappeared. I assume just took off straight, vertically or something like that. So yeah, that was my first real
Matt,
close encounters.
you saw that was really close to you. How did you feel at the time? What was your feeling? What was it? Was it were you? I mean, most people would run.
Yeah, although I had no fear. There was no fear whatsoever. When I took the video of the object in the sky, I mean, you can hear it on the video. My breath is very heavy. There is a sense of fear then. When I sort of realized that this is a UFO event happening, I'm very sort of excited with it, what was going on, but you can sense it in my voice and in my breathing. But yeah, when I came, face to face with these two objects, I just felt, wow. I was just in awe, but really not knowing what to do with it. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I wish maybe I just opened my mind and tried to communicate or something like that. But I was trying to look at both the objects and just try to get a good description of what were they made of. How did they look? What shape? That kind of thing. With any markings? I'm trying to take these things in as well. But yeah, it was a strange sort of peaceful feeling, really, to be honest. Yeah.
And did you see? It was interesting that you said that its first appearance seemed to be plasma. Was that because it was? Sorry? Yeah, you said it looked like almost like it was made of plasma.
What the
first one?
The first one. No, no, it was white. So it looked like a white plastic. Sorry, like a white. It was brilliant white, almost material like, actually. Just it looked like stretched material, brilliant white. Yeah, not plasma. Sorry.
Did you see anything? Did you see any entity?
Sorry. I think you're right. The one I took a video of, yes, that looked to be plasma. Yes, sorry.
That one. Yes,
yeah,
that's
not the
it.
one on
yeah.
There's so many.
I took a video of in the sky. Well, there was three in about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep track of them.
It was insane. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Okay. Is that video? Is that on your YouTube channel? Is it on your YouTube channel, Matt?
I don't have a YouTube. I don't put stuff out. Yeah, I'll fly under the radar.
All right. Okay. That is
This is quite
that's
exposing
incredible.
for me, actually.
That is just so.
You've got to come out of the closet at some point.
Yeah. I mean, no, but I mean, it was so close to you. So close to you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I could have run up and tried to almost touch it. Yeah.
What time? What
both
time
of them?
When
It's
you
about
saw
5
this?
o'clock.
5
5,
o'clock.
6 p.m. in the evening. So it's April the 23rd and the 24th. So, you know, these late nights that we have, you know, starting now, would still be late. Yeah.
Now, Hyde Park is not. Hyde Park is for people listening to this, or if they don't realise, Hyde Park is in London. It's sort of northwest, sort of West London, really, isn't it? Hyde
West
Park.
London, yeah, on the north side of the river, yeah. Yeah.
Because you go past that.
Yeah, it stretches between. You have Kensington Palace on the west side of the park, and you have Mayfair and Buckingham Palace on the west side of the park. So there's some quite significant secure buildings there. There's also where I had the close encounter. You know, thinking back on memory, pretty much outside Kensington Barracks. So there's a military establishment right there.
Right, being that being the location it is, it's not out in some field in Norfolk. This is
central London, broad daylight. Yeah.
Was there anyone else at all you can recollect that might have seen this?
No, nobody. When I took the video, I looked around. Yes, there was people walking about, but nobody taking any notice. I did think to sort of stop somebody and say, "Can you see this?" But obviously, it was on my video. When the close encounters happened, I mean, they were just so intense and quick, but there was nobody near me. No, I think I was in a copse of trees, and you know.
So just to get this clear, there was people around. There was people around in that park.
There would be people in the park. Yeah, I mean, it's one of London's major tourist locations.
Yeah,
isn't
of course.
It?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Hyde Park I've been to quite a few times.
So I mean, I would keep off the tourist parts of the park. Some parts are busier than others. It's on the south side of the park where this happened, where you get less tourists because there's not a lot of the park there.
But does it strike you as being strange that you know, nobody else in the park, and there's got to be other people in that park? As you say, there was other people in that Hyde Park, 5, 6 o'clock at night. People often use it because it's a shortcut to get from work and back, and it's a lovely park. A lot of concerts are put on in the summertime. Big bands play in Hyde Park. Does it strike you as odd that no one kind of like was sort of in awe or like came up to you, being that you were the closest to it, came up, you know, you're right. You know, what was that? What did you see? I saw it. What was it? Do you find that strange that no one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That nobody else saw this sort of 20, 30 foot long craft. Yeah. But from memory, I think there was trees on either side of us. We're in a sort of a boulevard of trees, if you like. There's lots of them in the park. So maybe it, you know, at the height it may have been shielded from view from various people. That's the larger craft, and I think the same with where I spotted the silver sphere. But yeah, I mean, for days, weeks, months after that, I would go on Google, trying to see if anybody had seen the same as me or anything, or any videos or anything like that. And no, never found anybody.
I was going to ask that, actually. That's another question I was going to ask. Have you I often, when I talk about cryptids and people have seen cryptids, and I like kind of say to them, do you know what, you know, because their description is not you know, kind of like, because the nature of the beast, pardon the pun, it's very fleeting, it's very quick. And I often say to them, look, scour the internet, have a little look, and then let us know.
Blinding.
That's what, no, it's very atmospheric now. I like that.
We're getting in the zone now.
No, that's good. Leave it like that. That's fine.
That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was thinking I'm half in the dark here. I haven't got my lights on bright either. So.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Yeah, have you seen, and there's a lot of UFO footage out there of different varying sorts. Have you seen anything which you could say, do you know what? That looks just like what I saw.
Oh yeah, loads, yeah. So at that point, I then started having lots of encounters. I've had a few more close encounters, maybe not that close, but within a sort of 30 feet, 40 feet, and then up to 100 feet. And then it gets into the hundreds and thousands, looking at sort of objects that may be in space and stuff like that. But one thing that struck me was these silver, I would keep seeing these silver objects that just looked like mirrors floating about in the sky. They weren't metallic balloons or anything like that. They were like metallic objects, angular. And then I caught quite a few videos of these type of objects. And I noticed at the same time that they were popping up all over the world: Australia, South Africa, South America, in the US. People were posting videos of the same thing. So yes, I recognize a lot of objects that other people post. Yeah, I've seen an object for every occasion. I can guarantee that. Every shape and size, every color.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually, because you've already mentioned 3 that were different. I was like, has it been more or less sort of different each time you've seen them? And sort of. So
I've seen a what can only describe what looked like a giant television about the size of a 3-story block of flats, going across the horizon, then take off into space in an arc like that in an instant. I've seen. I mean, it's funny because it's just so much different. I could go on all night about the kinds of different things. I've seen kind of blue snakes in the grass, looking like neon lights. I've seen balls of orange plasma float down the street. Gosh, I've seen strange explosions above my house. God, I could just go on and on and on, and the amount of data that I've got on video is just immense.
Wow.
Did it look anything like that?
It's an ongoing. Sorry.
Did it look anything like this?
Did what look like anything like that? Anything I've seen?
Yeah.
No, I don't really think I've seen anything that looks like that. No.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. I mean, I've seen lights in the sky, and if you had a good enough camera and zoomed in, it may look like that. I mean, it's all going to depend on the type of equipment you've got and all those kind of things, isn't it? So,
because that's by Truth Poll on X, and that was a high-resolution video of an alleged UFO orb sphere captured by Peter Osborne at Chris Bledsoe's residence.
Right. I mean, I would trust those guys. They sound like, but I've not seen anything like that. I've seen, hundreds of lights in the sky. Like I said, I saw that orange ball of plasma, looked like a ball of fire, coming down the street. I mean, I've seen 3 of them going across the sky 10 years ago. And this is one of the things that I put down to something else, but they were about the size of a car or something. And I just thought, well, maybe it's just a slow meteorite, You try and convince yourself that it's anything but once you have a really close encounter, then you just can't deny you know, the existence of these things, and then when it's happening to you all the time, then you know, you really start building some kind of relationship with whatever the phenomena is, you know.
Yeah. Do you feel that you have built a relationship? You sort of are more able to, with the CE5, you're more able to, it's opened up a window where you can communicate. Do you feel that you can communicate now with them?
Yeah, no, I've done experiments where I know that there's a telepathic link. You know, I've proven that to myself multiple times. Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I, you know, would predict an event or ask for an event to happen, and it would happen. You know, within the sort of next, you know, quite not easy events to happen by chance. You know, I remember one in particular where I asked for a particular thing to happen, but I thought, no, that's too easy. And I'd made it twice as hard, and I thought, no, that's too easy again. So I made it 3 times harder, and the thing happened, you know, 40 minutes later. There's you can instantly just walk out the house and have a thought, look up, and then there'll be a shooting star or a satellite that kind of glows up instantly. I've even looked up and saw 2 giant discs above my house while I was having a joke in my head about seeing 2 discs above my house. You know, there is a sense of humor to it as well. So I think, you know, consciousness is primary, and that telepathy is for them just a normal way of communication. I don't hear voices in my head. It's more like a knowing or a sense, a feeling, rather than any kind of words or, you know, text or things like that.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. We're going to get, I'd like to come back to you if that's okay.
Yeah, sure,
I
no
just
problem.
want to just briefly mention a few people that are on the chat. We've got quite a full chat. It's got 92 chats on there. Just really briefly, want to thank Keith Aston for coming on and moderating. Roxy B, thank you very much for being admin. We have also got let's have a look. Oh, Goldfish Paranormal, another weird Goldfish Paranormal.
Turns
Hello,
up every
Goldfish
week. It's
Paranormal.
crazy.
Yeah, crazy person. It's almost like they haven't got a life. Sasquatch. We've got Dawn, Sasquatch sister. Hello, how are you? Kate, hello, how are you? Thank you, Kate, for the song once again, and your support, both Dawn and Kate. Susie Bernadette from GAP's team. We have got Drew Hollings. Hello, Drew. Blimey, we've got quite a few actually. Emerald, Paranormal. Hello, Jenny. Yes, hello. Yep, Emerald Owl. Hello, Jenny. We got Mr. Stoney, 1981. Okay, how you doing? Hope you're keeping okay. Mystic Spooks Expedition on YouTube. Okay, then. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got quite a few. So keep it coming. Anyone got any questions? Remember, stick the Q on the question so that it's highlighted in capitals. You don't have to write all the question out in capitals, because otherwise your finger's on the shift button constantly. But just, you know, the beginning of it, the Q, put it in capitals. Oh, Matt Hornicks, yeah. Well, Matt Hornick, hello. I'm glad you could make it, sir. Oh, of course. Delroy, hello, Delroy. Have a look. Yeah, we've got quite a few. So, look, with the chat, I'm going to jump back on with the chat. Oh, who's that? Oh, hang on. Oh, Jane. How you doing, Mum?
She's figured it out again.
How's things, Mum? Evening, all technical hitch, but all good now. God, tell us about it. Technical hitch, blimey. Yeah, yeah, that's what I think. That's what it should be the subheading of this show.
I
Technical
was
hitch.
going to say, it's not a technical
And-
hitch somewhere.
yeah, Andrew Horn. Hello, good evening. Hello, Andrew. Glad you could make it. Got Amanda on as well. Hello, Amanda. Metallic 1047. That was a Bledsoe orb. It was, yes, it was a Bledsoe orb. Very interesting. So yeah, I'm going to jump back onto the chats. Okay, remember any questions, stick them at Q capital at the beginning. Okay. Chris.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Hello. You had very famous sighting. You had a very famous sighting, the Cosford sighting. Could you just explain to us the breakdown?
Yeah, of course.
What you saw for us, please.
So my cousin and I, we were. I was about. In fact, I was 14, and he was 2 years older than me. And we'd been over to a party earlier on in the evening. It was Easter Bank Holiday weekend, 1994. It's just sorry, 19. I think it was 1993, and it was a funny night. We'd had a really funny evening, and as we come back along, anyone that knows Brighton, do you know Brighton Racecourse, Natalie, by any chance? Are you familiar with it or no? Anyone familiar with Brighton Racecourse?
Not the
No.
race course, but I do know Brighton.
Yeah, no. So we come along the dirt track by the race course, which it's at the very top of a hill, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we got to the top of a set of steps, and from the steps you can look out on a clear day. You can see the Isle of Wight. I think it's about 45 mile away. You can on a clear day, so you can see for miles and miles. And it was a little bit cloudy. I remember it was quite cloudy, but you could still see the stars. And we'd already walked about 2 miles across up and down the hills and that. And when we got to the top of the steps, we sat down for 5 minutes, and we both sat down. We lit a cigarette, and we looked across, and there was this giant black obsidian black triangle hovering above Shoreham Power Station, about 5 miles away from us. And both of us see it, and both of us very quiet. I remember it under our breaths. We were like, "What the fuck is that? I mean, what is that?" We've never seen nothing like that. We didn't have mobile phones or anything like that, cameras or anything. Or so. Anyway, we sort of composed ourselves. As we stood up, this thing skipped across the sky, and it was in the field next to us, about 75 meters away. It was the size of like a jumbo jet size. It was hovering about, I would say, 20 meters off the ground. And like I say, I would say 75 to 100 meters away from us. It was hovering above the horse field. It's the race trainer, Gary Moore's horse field. And it gave us it was like it gave us a personal flyby, this thing. I'm not joking. And it very, very slowly moved over the hill, heading east. And the whole experience was probably about, I would say, 15 or 20 seconds in total. But it skipped across the sky in like a blink of an eye. It's done 5 miles. This is 5 miles, like in the blink of an eye, like a skipping stone. It was bizarre. And me and my cousin, well, I mean, as it passed, I mean, we stood like a rabbit in headlamps as it went past. I'll never forget it. All the air stood still. There was no birds. There were just, and I remember it was like the only way I can describe it is like a visual hum around this craft. It was like it glowed like a very, very light blue. And we stood still. I mean, like hair stood up all over my body, all up my back. It was, and then as it passed over the hill, we run. We just run and run and run and run back to the pub where my
Back to the pub.
It's, no,
Sorry.
it's
It just
where
reminds me, you remember Shaun of the Dead when there's these zombies and the only place they can think to go is the pub?
No. It was my cousin lived in the local pub, and we run. It must have been a good mile all the way back to the pub, and we never really spoke about it after that. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was my wife. She watches Ancient Aliens. And I've always had the only way I can describe it is I've always had this like a affiliate, like a blue energy around me ever since I was younger. And as by the way, as I got, that wasn't my first experience. My first experience, which I didn't know until I started looking at this stuff years later, was an out of body experience when I was 7. I had a very, very profound out of body experience when I was 7. And again, after I didn't know what that was back in 1985, I had no idea what was happening to me. And I always had a very good imagination, and it was, just put it down to that. But years later, obviously realised that is what I can do is that's actual. They call it astral plane, don't they?
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good at it. I've got good at it over the years. So, and then so the triangle, we never spoke of it for years and years. We never said anything. And then I was about 6 years ago. My wife, she was watching Ancient Aliens, and Nick Pope came on. And he started talking about the Black Triangle event of 1993. And my ears pricked up because it was in spring 1990, and it was 1993. Spring 1993, Black Triangle UFOs were spotted all over the UK. The event was called, they called it the Cosford sightings because the main event, if you like, was a triangle parked right over RAF Cosford, but that is a matter of public record, by the way. You can go to the British Archives and it is there, that file that says there was a UFO hovering above RAF Cosford. That is public knowledge. Like, they have no idea what that was. So yeah, we were witness, unbeknownst to us, to quite a famous sighting in the UK. Although it wasn't, we wasn't witness to the main event itself over RAF Cosford. We were witness to this triangle at exactly the same time as the others were being reported. So yeah, and it's quite interesting because I've since then I came. I had a really, really close encounter myself out in the back garden about 4 years ago, and it was the night before my birthday. And I have no idea why. I'd be chilling out on the couch, and something compelled me to go out into my back garden. Now, I'd always had some weird stuff happen to me. I've always had problems with electrical interference. I've always had this like a blue energy. It's the only way I can describe it around me. I see things which are all documented in my medical record, which I now know are like UAB. You know, there can't be anything else. So recently I followed the Cosford story, and very recently a memo came out that said after the Belgian wave of Black Triangle UFOs in 1989, the British government tried to acquire anti-UAP technology from the US. 1993, you had the Gosford sightings across the UK, and then another memo that came out 3 years later from the British government asking again, as a matter of urgency, can we please acquire anti-UAP technology? So the British government were trying to acquire whatever the Americans have got hidden back in the mid to late 90s. So I've had a couple of people say to me, oh, it was the TR3B and this. Listen, this thing, what I see, it was like a piece of glass in the sky. It had nothing. I mean, this was like a piece of black obsidian glass with a hum around it. There was three red lights on the corner. There was no markings. There was nothing. It was just a silent, giant slab of obsidian glass in the sky. There was no rivets. There was no wings. There were no. I've seen pictures online of people when they've got the black triangles. This thing's got like a ring in the middle. There was nothing. It was a piece of glass in the sky. That's what we saw.
Wow, it's kind of cool to have that, because like we've said quite a lot with the UFO phenomenon. Very often it seems to be like one person sees it, nobody else does. So it's kind of nice that you've got some record, that actually happened.
Yeah. So on my birthday a couple of years ago, I got up. I have no idea why. I was just chilling out. I wouldn't call it meditating, or I have my own way of like meditating, and I think a lot, so I was compelled to get up and go and stand outside. I have absolutely no idea why. And then when I got up and I took a cigarette with me, I stood at the back door, and it was very cloudy. It was very, very low lying cloud, and all of a sudden it was like a ball of light about the size of a cricket ball dropped out of the cloud. It hovered above my tree in the garden. It was so bright, it was like a magnesium ribbon burning. Okay. And it lit the whole top of my tree up. I could see it. It went about 50 meters and popped back into the cloud. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. I swear to God. And it was, I think that happened on the 21st of September, about 4 years ago. And then I went and joined the CE5 group. I was like, I need to speak to people that have seen this stuff. Mm. I need to people that are, if this is right, what they're doing, this CE5, and I need to go and find people that are actually doing this stuff or seeing this stuff. And it's where I met Matt and a few others, and we formed a little group in Leicester. It's very, very difficult to get a group together to do this. It's it's notoriously difficult.
In what way? Is it just like getting people to turn up all at the same time, or because of it?
There's very, very limited people that actually want to do it, or actually, and even less people that actually go out and do this. And you try and get a group of you together. A lot of the time, you're based all over the country. Mm. And then everybody's got their own lives, kids, jobs. It's just I've said to Phil, like, I think there was a lot of meetings on the main CE5 page that never materialised for that reason. It's just so difficult to get everyone together.
I think you have to have the weather. You have to have a lot of things, clear sky, as well. You know, if you want to see the sky, you don't necessarily have to be able to see the sky. You know, there's a lot of things need to come together to have a successful night and get people to come out and things like that anyway. But and it is a bit of an endurance event sometimes,
Yes.
as it gets later and colder and that kind of thing. So it's
Yeah,
not
I
for
was
the
going to say,
faint-hearted, definitely not.
I take it it's not like Paranormal Investigation where you're inside and you can put the heating on if you need to.
It's
a
a
little
waiting
bit.
game, essentially. You're sat waiting. I mean, you can do things. We do things like play certain tones. We use AI and flash codes, whether that's light or sound, radios and things like that. You know, to keep the night going, keep it interested. We do meditation
I
and
should be bringing a
and plays
Tesla
up the
coil.
night. But it's literally just looking at the sky most of the time and waiting, with your camera, something to.
I'm just going to get an overview of the protocols at the moment. So I'm just going to ask, what are? Let's have a look. What are the protocols? Let's have a look. What are the protocols of a CE5 group?
CE5 refers to human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The protocols really focus on a few key things: group meditation to center the group's thinking, setting positive intentions for contact, and using a combination of light, sound, and thought to invite interaction. They often involve going out to a remote location at night. Is there a specific aspect you're most curious about?
No, that's fine. Just wanted to know the basic protocol.
Gotcha. So basically, group meditation, setting positive intentions, and using light, sound, and thought to try and connect.
Thank you.
Anything else you're wondering about, or maybe a different subject you're interested in now?
No, that's fine. Thanks. Yeah. So with meditation, is there set meditations that you use? That's to Chris or Matt, really.
Yeah, I think when we first started our group as it is now, we started, didn't we, Matt? We started with Stephen Greer's, just simple.
Or just some off YouTube, yeah, that we liked.
Yeah. It was
guided meditations, whatever it is that you like yourself, I think, yeah. But we've changed it a lot, Chris, haven't we? We've tried different ones.
We've tried our own.
We all like. There's this lady who's got a lovely northern voice.
We've tried without it. We've tried just with the dog whistle. We've tried. Yeah.
I heard the dog whistle was good. I heard the dog whistle is one of these like pulled out of the bag, and you get results with it.
I think
you can't determine what you get results on, really, can you?
No.
That would just be a fool's errand, because we employ all kinds of different.
I think if you need to raise the frequency, and
all
what you
about
do,
vibration.
You use the tools then to keep that vibration up, and that like the dog whistle will be one of them tools. So it's just another almost like an activity to keep that vibration raised and that frequency raised as much as can, to get as much interest as we can from whatever the phenomena is,
Yeah, I think the most successful nights we've had is when everybody is in sync, having a good time, enjoying themselves, and that's when the best nights happen. So I think it's all about your group vibration, keeping that high, and you get a response then.
So it's more of a. So you would recommend, like, when Natalie and myself are there. It's got to be more of a party mood. It's got to be more like kind of upbeat and marshmallows.
I'd love to get a boogie on, yeah. Personally,
absolutely.
You get music. You get music going.
I do, yeah. I do.
Do we take it in turns
to
kind of? Do we take? Can we take it in turns to kind of like do a bit of body popping or stuff like that?
You can do whatever makes you happy. Yeah. I mean, there are groups out there that have guided discos and all kinds of things going on. you know, just entirely for this reason, just to get a good vibe going. And, you know, if you
Right.
check out the CE5 pages, you see them on there. You know, there's another probably important aspect is communicating your location, probably beforehand, and where it is you're going to be is maybe, you know, get a view of that on Google and just zoom in a few times in and out, you know, right out to space if you've got Google Earth, and zoom back in again, and just sort of commit that to memory and send that out, you know, your location, you know, in the run up to the event, you know, the day before or on the day.
Right.
You know, it's one of the protocols from Stephen Greer. You know, I don't really subscribe to any protocol at all, really, because I've never really needed to use any to you know, for things to happen. But I think in a group, definitely think more things do happen when you sort of put a bit of effort into it. Yeah.
I've got a question. And this question is: there's a little bit of thought with people that they believe that with, especially with both of your sightings, because they were quite personal to you two individually on an individual basis. From the point of view of Matt, you saw that orb, which is very, very close to you, very close to you, and yet you saw it in Hyde Park, a busy park, at 5, maybe 6 in the evening. When it would have had a lot of people there. It would have had a lot of people there. They would have seen it come down from the sky or go back up to the sky. But they didn't seem to. You did seem to. My question is the same with you also, Chris. You know, huge, massive obsidian black triangles coming in off the ocean. You would have imagined that other people would have seen it, but it seems to be quite a personal interaction, a
You know
personal
what? We've
exposure.
Yeah, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and apart from it was a Sunday morning, Easter bank holiday, Easter Sunday morning, and the town would have been packed. The funny thing is, nobody would have seen. Nobody would have been at Shoreham Harbour at a derelict power station at 3 o'clock on Easter Sunday morning. You know, I don't even think the port's open. I honestly don't. There's a little port there. I don't even think that would have been open that weekend, especially not at night, 3 in the morning. The town would have been packed, but then would anybody have seen that? You know, blathered up, you know, drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning, or you know, that I don't. And it did feel personal because it stopped. Whatever was piloting that thing, it saw us. There's no way it could not have seen us. It slowed down for us. For God's sake, it see us as much as we see it. It was looking at us like whatever.
Do you feel, Matt, that it was personal to you on some level?
100%, yeah. Yeah. But it's also been very problematic. It didn't go unnoticed. So, you know, that's caused problems for me. I think that all of it's personal. Yeah. For everybody, it's personal. Just going back to your idea on people not seeing it, there are various models put forward. One by a chap called particular Dr. Joseph Burks. Some people should check out some of his sort of stories of his own encounters. He started off with Stephen Greer back in the 90s. Can't remember the name of the model. It escapes me at the moment, but that essentially they can sort of click into your brain, your consciousness, and people can be sharing the same event but see different things within that same event, or possibly different interpretations, or even just some people in a group see have seen them. So there seems to be some kind of technology that they possess. I think that they can create these very boutique experiences for maybe a single person in a
But
crowd and things like that.
you said it exactly. You just said you can create these experiences. So basically, that brings
Yeah.
me on
So
to there's a
I mean,
certain thought of they call them egregores, which are created by a group, semi-autonomous intelligences. They can provide spiritual support or guidance to their members, but also can act as parasitic forces that demand continued attention and energy. For instance, the Philip experiment was a famous one. It was initially sort of spoken about by Eliphas Levi, and also Annie Besant popularized the idea that thoughts and emotions can become entities that aggregate on the astral plane. Do you think that could be because with CE5, you're talking about meditation, you're talking about kind of envisaging, hoping to envisage and to view UFO or alien craft. Do you believe that it could be a projection from the collective, which is presenting itself in the form
yeah, I
of
do.
light?
I mean, the more I see, the more I experience, the more I read, the less and less I've seen no evidence whatsoever of any aliens. I'm not even sure aliens exist, or but I'm sure they exist in the universe. If the universe exists, there's all kinds of questions of what reality really is. But yeah, I think that it potentially is a collective consciousness projection thing, or some kind of field that reacts to the collective consciousness and potentially personal consciousness in some kind of way, rather than a visitation of. I think it could be a mixture of things, could be those things, but I think there's definitely some kind of field going on there. That's the kind of conclusions I'm coming to at this point, 5 years down the line.
See, I personally
just
don't.
personal experience. Yeah.
I personally, Matt, don't believe that that egregores can be created in the form of UFOs. I'll tell you why. Because you often find that radar will pick them up. You will often find that a Reaper drone will pick them up and fire a Hellfire rocket, and the Hellfire rocket will hit that egregore. And if it is an egregore, as a fault form, even if they're semi-autonomous, the onboard telemetries, the computer software doesn't know to create that orb that is firing at, and with such precision that it's able to pinpoint it. So I think if we were talking about egregore, then in all possibility, we could say, okay, maybe entities that we see within that craft could be a manifestation of our thoughts. Maybe they're presenting themselves in a manner which they think is suitable for the witness. But I think the craft themselves, there's something different. I think there's something different. I don't think there's something which a group can create. Maybe a group can ask, maybe there is a communication on a higher level between us. Yes, I agree with you on that. But either via Tulpa, which is a single person creating with that's out of the question completely, because a Tulpa is something really quite different. But with an egregore, I don't really think that it's something that we should go down. I wouldn't believe in that. I think when we meet at Rendlesham Forest and we're all sitting around and we're cooking with our little sticks with the marshmallows and we're meditating, and drinking hot chocolate, and I'm doing a bit of body popping for everybody because I'm not too bad. I used to be pretty good on the body popping front. Then I think we will have such jovial time, and we will all want the same thing, that I think that will probably hopefully instigate lights in the sky or some kind of response.
I'd like to think in the forest we'll get to see some stuff close up. I think so. I think in the forest we quite a lot of stuff that you might see, like our little blue orbs in Bradgate. There was 3 or 4 of us actually see them. When we've been out before, we've seen like little lights dancing across the grass and things like that. So it's not necessarily you're not out there looking just for UFOs, disc-shaped UFOs, or you're trying to every little thing around you could be something, no matter how close. The closest experience I ever had was literally I just put the phone down to Matt, or it was about 6 months ago, and my wife see this as well. The both of us see this in the bedroom, and we see this like the air. We were talking, and this thing came between us like it just come out of nowhere, and it lit up the size of a golf ball, like a piece of magnesium ribbon, and just vanished. And it was literally about 3 foot from me and a foot away from my missus. So you're not. Yes, of course, you're looking up in the sky all the time, but you keep an eye on your close environment for little flashes and little streaks and things like that, because it's all linked. I think a lot of the small stuff, Matt, is like they send out orb scouts, don't they? I think this stuff, it will send out little scouts first sometimes before it presents itself. So
I would like to ask the people watching this. I would like to ask, look, when we go to Rendlesham Forest, when we're after I finish my body popping, because no one really wants to see that, not in public.
I do.
I don't mind in a group. But I wouldn't sort of do it. And twerking, I'm a bit of a twerker as well, so excuse me for that. But I did promise my members that I'd do a bit of twerking. So that's just something you'll have to put up with. But we will have fun. And I would like to ask the people, when I do a live, I'm going to do a live from there, just so that they can see any reaction to our actions. Well, not me specifically, because probably won't get any reaction from me twerking. But, once we sort of set our minds to it and try and get some response, I'm going to do a live. And what I'd like to try is, if it is a case of everyone, if they can remotely, meaning they're at a distance, they're at home, and they're watching a live that we'll be doing. I will do the event on Facebook. I will do the event on YouTube as well. If they can just collectively think, what would be helpful for people at home to ask when we're there and I'm filming a live of us in the field?
I just think people just to try and find it in themselves to just try and kind of muster what they might think a loving intention is for them. I mean, they could have something happen in their own room at home while they're watching, so it doesn't all have to be what is happening out on site either. I'm not saying it's going to, but it might do. And they can sit out in the garden, but just send out a loving intention to try and have loving, peaceful contact with other beings that just have humanity's best interests at heart, and in that person's particular interests at heart. So only friendly, loving entities or extraterrestrials, aliens, and just send out that thought, whether it's for the group themselves or us all together, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
That's all
and I
that
mean,
needs to be done,
I hope
essentially.
people. I hope people. When I'm going to put the event on as a live, and there'll be a countdown for it, and we'll get ourselves ready and get the marshmallows ready, because I know Natalie's looking forward to the marshmallow business. Those are the sausage rolls, but that we'll explain when we're there. The sausage roll business. So I think it will be, I think it will be very important, and I would like to ask people at home if they are going to be watching the live. I'd love you to watch the live, because hopefully your input and your thought will help in this. That's what I'm hoping, and that would be fantastic. Could you imagine if we get a response because people at home are collectively helping? That'd be
Well, the more
incredible.
people
Really
that
good.
we have, the greater the collective consciousness, and hopefully that amplifies what
That's
it is
it.
we're trying to
Encouraging
do.
that, will it?
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
It would be really good. I'm
And
going to put
people
up.
might be surprised and find things happen, even them just trying it home. That might break the ice for them. The veil might be thin around themselves, and they might be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
It don't come and blame me.
I've just put up a poll for people about the egregore business. Just to see what people at home think of that idea. I mean, in essence, what my argument is quite simply, if it was a thought form, why is it that computer systems and radar systems and missile detection systems also are able to have a lock on these things? If it was a thought form, they wouldn't be able to, obviously, because they're machine algorithms. So very advanced machine algorithms, but still machine algorithms. So so that's my argument.
Could it be a thought form that takes on a form in a 3D dimensional place, which is I think it's solid. It just really slow down vibration, isn't it? Essentially slowing down of electrons, and that's really what creates all matter. Where the thoughts exist, assuming in maybe another dimension. Who knows what the technology or how advanced any of these beings or entities are,
Yeah, it's it could. I mean, I've got my own ideas. I'm just going to quickly put an idea out for everyone. It's like kind of something which I've been thinking about with the aliens, and I was like, because I have had like not as extensive as your interactions, but have had like kind of interactions with UFOs, what you call UFOs. But people at home, if you want to do the poll, all you got to do is in the comments put 1, 2, or 3. That's all you've got to do. Okay, as simple as that. But 1, 2, or 3. I'll put another poll up on that one. Right. My idea is, do you think that? Oh, hang on a minute. What we got? Oh, unsure. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, the poll's still running. That's fine. Right. Have you ever heard of the Kármán line? Roughly 100 kilometers up. Is on the edge of space, the very edge of space. It's a transition zone, basically, between space. Yes, exactly. So it's on the edge of space. It's a transition zone where air is too thin for traditional wings, but too thick for orbital satellites. It's a no man's land. makes it a perfect, in my view, hiding spot for maybe these entities. Now, I kind of would like to call them plasma drifters, because a lot of times they're able to change their shape. The ships are able to change their shape. I was talking once also to Nancy Thames, who has had a lot of interactions with UFOs, and she said that they are biologics. The ships themselves are biologics. They are, if you like, creatures. They are governed and driven by entities, and it's only one entity, which is the pilot, which from beginning to end is always tuned up. A bit like Flight of the Navigator, like that type of thing.
On the craft supposed to be conscious, and
Yes.
the pilots
Yeah.
then sort of connect consciousness with the craft. I mean, that's kind of, I think that's well documented and spoken about with contactees or abductees and things like that. And there are people that have come forward and says they've actually been able to fly the craft. It's usually, it has a palm print, where you put your hand down onto it, and then you become symbiotic with the craft consciously, and that's how it's flown you with thought instantly.
Because Charles Fort, this is a long time ago, 1919, but Charles Fort, long before UFO, the actual acronym was known, the writer Charles Fort catalogued thousands of anomalies science couldn't explain. In his seminal work, which was the Book of the Damned, he famously speculated that the sky wasn't empty. I quote, "It seems no more incredible that up in the seemingly unoccupied sky there should be hosts of living things than that the seeming blank of the ocean should swarm with life." He proposed a super Sargasso Sea, the super Sargasso Sea above Earth, a literal ocean in the sky where lost things and strange creatures lived, occasionally raining down on us. And that would probably account for sometimes we have like frogs which are rain down on Earth. We have like strange organic slime that comes down in like different parts of the world. These odd anomalies that come down from above, and surprisingly frequently as well. You've got Trevor James Constable proposed that UFOs aren't machines but giant amoeba-like organisms. He called them critters. If these were biological space jellyfish, their biology would likely involve low density. They would need to be incredibly light, perhaps filled with hydrogen or helium to float in the extremely thin air of the Kármán line. Bioluminescence, much like deep sea jellyfish, they might glow to communicate or to attract high altitude particles for feeding. The energy propulsion needed, instead of moving through water, they might use electromagnetic propulsion to navigate Earth's ionosphere. I mean, all these things is people may think, oh, what are you talking about? What they're animals? Well, in essence, yeah, they could well be. You know, they're it's simply because a lot of times when they are seen, they are really strange to look at. They seem to morph into different shapes very easily. If they were a metal of some type, there would be noise. Surely there'd be some kind of noise if they were morphing out and changing shape and they were metal. Being that this is only a hypothesis that they possibly could be biologics, the ship could be biologics, then it would make sense. What do you think to that as an idea?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's feasible. I think as we get more and more into the topic of the phenomena, I think you definitely find consciousness plays much bigger part than we anticipate, and that I think if they've got to that level, it may not be that the craft is actually a being. It may be that consciousness can be transferred into materials. You know.
Have you heard of Kenneth? You've heard of Kenneth Arnold, yeah? He coined the term UFO, flying saucer. He because when he was asked, like, oh, what did it look like? He said it looked like someone throwing a saucer, a plate, you know, like that little dome on top. Kenneth Arnold, 1947.
Was he the pilot of that one who saw
right.
7?
That's right.
Craft?
It was not some nut job. He was a very astute man. That was 1947 when he saw the flying saucer, and he coined the phrase. And of course, the press got hold of it, and the press were like, "Oh yeah, flying saucer, that's a good one. Yeah, we'll do that one." As he grew older, he moved away from the alien spaceship theory. By 1955, he claimed that UFOs were actually sky jellyfish, biological, translucent organisms native to our atmosphere that could change their density to become invisible or visible. That was Kenneth Arnold.
I think, you know, there may be one aspect of it, but it wouldn't cover the whole topic in any way, I don't think, you know. I mean, what I saw wasn't a jellyfish, and there's lots of things that don't look like jellyfish. I mean, I have actually seen a craft that looks like a jellyfish. Well, I called it a jellyfish when I saw it, and that was only about 30 feet away. It was a big black, what I could just describe as a 10-foot wide hula hoop with black tentacles coming off it. It looked like a jellyfish to me, just, you know, in a way, but you know, I've since information I found out, I since believe that's a man-made craft. But I think there's definitely biologics floating about in the atmosphere, or they you know, maybe there's some kind of veil thinning and they're coming through from a different dimension, or maybe they do live permanently in our atmosphere, but there's something definitely there that resembles live biological looking entities or objects or animals or beings or whatever. But it doesn't cover the whole subject, does it?
Yeah, I'm going to put a let's have a look. Was that a no? Hang on. Stop belt. Yep. Okay. Let's have a look. There you go. Put that up. Okay, and see what people believe. See if it is a possibility. Could there be a sea called this super gas, Sargasso Sea up in the atmosphere? It's just a member 1, 2, or 3. It's all you got to put in the comments, and that would be absolutely fabulous. What time does it start and what time does it finish? When do we have to? When's the best time for CE5 to go out? And
early evening, I would say. You get out, find your spot, and you know, have a chill out, familiarize yourself with the area, find the loos, you know, just the obvious stuff. Maybe to see if you can. I don't know if in Rendlesham, can you have a small campfire or not?
Well, I'm gonna wink. Take a I've got like I call it like it's basically what the army have. It's like a little tinder box, if you like, and you put a few twigs and sticks in. It's just enough for marshmallows, just to keep Natalie happy.
I was promised
see the forest burning down now. I'm sure there's a place where we could, there'll be fire pits and stuff like that. Yeah.
And talking about Natalie, I've got a little poll I'm going to put up. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this one. Right then. Okay, so Natalie, just imagine Natalie is taken by a UFO at Rendlesham. Which of these would you expect her to endure? painful probing and examination, a tracker inserted, or do you expect her to have a cup of tea and a hobnob biscuit if she was taken by a UFO? Knowing Natalie, as we know Natalie, which of those do you think that they would offer her?
Have you seen Kate's comment, Phil?
Yeah, so just in the comments, 1, 2, or 3, that's fine. I know which one I think that she ought to endure, but yeah,
Kate's offered option 4. Have you seen it, Phil? The comment, and Kate's just put up. I've got a 4th
No,
option.
I haven't. No, is there a tasty
there's
comment?
a slight delay on the comments at the moment, I think, on YouTube. When it comes up, she's put Natalie would probe the aliens.
Natalie would probe the.
I'm going for option 4 and then the hobnobs afterwards.
Blimey and Riley, honestly. Well, just 1, 2, or 3 on that. Oh, I see Ready Steady Retro, and she's got a laughing face as well. She's got 3, a cup of tea and hobnob biscuits. Okay, right. Yeah, she's been nice to you, isn't she?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's that one. I'll let that one cook for a little bit. And I do have another one. Let's have a look. Right, let's have a look. Stop hold there. Hide that one. Right, okay, I'm going to put this one up. Right then. Chris has a close encounter in Rendlesham Forest, okay, in the actual forest himself that he was just talking about. How would we know? So option 1, he runs out the forest screaming. Option 2, his hair has grown back in curls. Or he silently drew images. He comes back and he silently draws images. Which of those 3 do you think at home? That if Chris was saw something or had a close encounter in the forest and he came back out to where the group is, would we know? So
you will be able to shut them up. Nice guys
everywhere.
Well, so you'd run out screaming, but it wouldn't be that kind of screaming. It would be excited screaming.
Yes, I've seen an alien. I've seen an alien. Yeah, I've got thermal as well. The stuff I'm going to be taking. Tell me if it's right or wrong, or whether I should bother. I've got a thermal camera. It's a FLIR one. I've got digital camera, a digital SLR camera for stills. I've got a light sucking lens to go on it. So it's a wide field lens. I've got a 4K video camera, which can go up to 120 frames per second. So that's like kind of a pretty good one. It doesn't have a zoom on it, but it has got a wide field lens. I've also got a trimeter, and that gives you radio frequency. That gives me electrical frequency. So it will do radio frequency if there's any cell towers around. It will tell me if there's any buried cables anywhere or any electrical output from motors or anything like that. Electrical motors, it will tell me on that. And also on the same meter, it's got the EMF, electromagnetic frequency detection. And I've also got like the ghost hunting K2 as a thing. I've got a REM pod to stick in between all of us, so that if we're sitting around in a sort of a circle, it's in the middle of us. If any entity comes near, then that will just beep go off. What else? I've got record MP3 recorders. I don't know if you guys use it like audio recorders at all. I know we talk about lights seen in the sky and us seeing stuff, but do you ever hear anything when you're doing a CE5? Is there anything that anyone hears or records?
I get a lot of not. It's not tetanus. I get a lot. I hear lots and lots of different frequency change in the air. Like if I sit in a room with no TV, electric, or anything like that, I will hear like a frequency, and it goes up and it goes down, and I can stop it. I've got full control over it. It's not tetanus where it's not a ringing. It is a frequency. It's a pitch. I get that
high
quite
pitched
a lot.
tone kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, and if I've had it a couple of times.
I get that as well.
When we've been out, if you know, like if we've had a sighting or just before a sighting, the pitch will change in one ear. It will just go in one ear, or something like that, something bizarre like that.
That's like a pressure change, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah, that's it. Like so you get the pressure change, like Matt just described, but you'll only get it one side, or it's so I've never heard a craft, but I do hear like I've always thought it was the you're tapping into Schumann resonance there. You're actually tapping into the Earth's heartbeat, I think.
What do you think, Natalie? Because you have that as well, don't you?
I have tinnitus, but it does change. I've got like a background tinnitus, more in this ear than this one, but I can also hear one or two pitches above or one or two pitches below. I tend to get it more when the sun's got a coronal mass ejection going on, or the solar winds, and I will hear changes. But I have also heard changes in like you say, in pitch over and above the normal sort of, because I do have some damage in my ears, so it's like over and above the normal tinnitus. And I went through a phase probably about 2 or 3 times over the last 6 months between exactly 11 p.m. and exactly 4 a.m. and I'd have this pitch, and then at 4 a.m. it just stopped. So that's when I was starting to ask questions, like you say, about what it was. But it's not always in both ears either, because you assume that if it's like a frequency, you would pick it up. But it's almost like there's more pressure in one side than the other, and it does change. Yeah, I've not quite. Well, it's hard to isolate, isn't it? Because without actually measuring whatever things are going on, but I mean, the one that was turning on and off was clearly something being turned on and off. Because it would
control over it.
You what? Sorry.
Have you got control over it?
Some of it I do, and some of it I don't. I did see a reel on Facebook. Yeah, I can't. The baseline one I've got. If I do some EFT tapping, I can usually drop the sound of it down, and the baseline's normally around 5, and sometimes when it goes up to 6 or 7, I can drop it back down again. But I can't turn them off, so I'm assuming they're actual changes in the frequency or whatever is going on in my background. But I can't isolate it, because some of them come and go. Some of them turn on and off at set times, which I presume are like antenna or whatever they're doing. That they're not telling us. Because it seems to have stopped. That one does. But yeah, sometimes. But mine seems to be related to the sun, the solar activity, as much as anything. So I don't know if I'm hearing the frequency changes as like you say, the Schumann resonance, the Earth's electromagnetic field changes. I don't know if that's what I'm picking up, but I've not been able.
I have no idea. It's the only thing I can think of.
It's annoying. But but I've not had one that I can turn on and off yet, so that's quite curious. So it'll be interesting to see if I get a different kind of tinnitus on top of the tinnitus when we're trying it.
Block it out. And, when I've spoke to the doctor about it, it's not tetanus. You can't get rid of it, can you? If you've got tetanus, it's a ringing, and you cannot get rid of it. I don't hear this all the time, and when I do, if it gets overwhelming, I can block it. I just think of something else, and it's gone. Like
Yeah,
No,
I
have to
get it
admit,
in
I
one ear.
can consciously reduce the tone of it a little bit, but I've never been able to stop it. It's so yeah, no, I would love to be able to do that. It's just like switch it off. But like you say, it might be a different. You're picking up on a different sound or frequency or
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
and
I
you
don't
can
know what it
consciously
is.
tune into and out of it whereas I'm just like subject to it. But yeah, I mean, it also might be the way your mind works, isn't it? Because some people say that tinnitus, some tinnitus is actually the way the brain's processing stuff rather than your actual ear itself. So, I mean, you could argue, that maybe it's a miswiring in the brain that it can't switch
Yes.
it off. Yeah, and like you say, you might, because you don't have tinnitus anyway, you might actually have a bit more control over it. It's an interesting thought.
There's a
Yeah.
there's a good thought about that, because I know that there's one lady that I know that has tinnitus in this ear, but she's got a hearing aid, but it's a hearing aid which is a cochlear, so it kind of is attached to her bone. It's got a magnet in her head, if you like, and it just goes onto the magnet, and she hears sounds through the cochlear directly, but she still gets tinnitus. Now I was talking to somebody last night, and they also have it. I've got it in one ear, and it changes pitch, and it's dead annoying, really annoying. And this lady who has an awful lot of knowledge, she said it is specifically a protection mechanism at the moment, because there's a lot of changes in the frequency of the earth, and pole shifts and things like that. There's a lot of changes going on at the moment, and it's a protection mechanism for us, the people that do get it. But it's all in one ear, my left ear, always. And sometimes it's not very much, and sometimes it's really quite loud. And it's like white noise, TV white noise years ago, when it's like that, but when when we had the old-fashioned sort of radio rentals TV, and it went off at midnight, and it just went
Static
down to
noise.
a
Yeah,
little dot, and they would play the national anthem, and that white noise afterwards would sound just like that sort of rushing kind of sound. Yeah, so it's an odd thing. A lot of people are suffering with that at the moment.
It seems to
Right,
be very
are you
common.
okay
Yeah.
just to answer a couple of questions? Just see what the comments, what people have got question wise. Let's have a look, see if Roxy's got any. She'll bring some up. Remember, anyone with questions, just put them into a capital Q at the beginning, and we'll do our very best. Question for Chris: does he just see or feel the 525 megahertz blue energy? A question for Chris: does he just see or feel the 525 megahertz blue energy?
Yes, and I've seen it ever since I was, if that's what you call it, the 5 mega. I've never known it as that, but I will look into that. But yeah, since I was a kid, it's like almost like blue smoke sometimes. I can see it. The darker it is, the better I can see it, and I can interact with it to a point. And I've had it since I was a kid, and it's in my autism diagnosis when we spoke about because I spoke about everything, and when I told them about the stuff that I see, they put it down as visual disturbances, but it's not. It's like this stuff. It's almost like it's alive. I can interact with this stuff. It's like energy, but it's stuff. It's like Matt described. Sometimes I'll get like a blue blob of cloud just move through the room, or and it's always been there. And I've got a funny trait, as I smell colours, and one of the colours that I smell is this blue, like a purpley, electric-y blue. It's got its own very, very unique smell, and you might laugh at this, Natalie, because it smells like a billy goat. It doesn't smell like, yeah, I swear to God, it smells like a billy goat, not a nanny goat. It smells like a billy goat.
That's
Yeah.
random.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It-
I was
so
expecting you to say
Been a while-
strawberries
Been a
or
while
something.
since I sniffed a billy goat.
yeah, it's got like a smell of like ammonia, like an ammonia sort of smell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's so bizarre. Like it's yeah. So yeah, what was the original question, Phil?
Can you see or feel it? I think so. I think he was saying like whether it was just a visual thing or whether there were other senses involved.
Yeah, no, I can almost smell it. I can detect it by nose, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
right.
feel it. I can't
Yeah.
feel it. I can only see it. I can't actually feel it.
Oh, Rob Shelsky.
Not free.
Rob Shelsky, how you doing, sir? Pressure changes can cause changes in pitch in the air. Allergies can produce that. Can you tell if this is different from that? Okay. I should have clarified that that is air pressure changes, like when the storm is coming. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. Yeah. Right. So, personally, no, not on a personal. It just, there's no rhyme or reason to my. It started about 18 months ago, about a year ago, I suppose. It started getting a bit worse, just in one ear, but it doesn't seem to be affected by what the barometers, whether the barometer's up or down or anything like that at all. When I'm on the motorbike, or I take the scooter to work, there's one hill in particular I sort of go up, and it's quite a steep hill. And usually, your ears, you sort of have to pop your ears by holding your nose and sort of breathing out to pop your ears. It doesn't change. It's still the same. Sometimes less, sometimes more. The only time it sort of is subdued and like less is when I first wake up in the morning. When I first wake up, it's less. It's still there, but it's less. And then as I go through the day, it gets worse. But then not always. It sort of. I don't know what the actual cause of it is, but I've got a feeling. Maybe it's because my conspiracy head, but I've got a feeling, as you gentlemen are saying, I think it is part of frequency pressure. It's something to do with what we're going through at the moment. I'll finish talking now.
No. You were waiting for the next set.
Definitely not allergy related. Yeah.
I have to admit, with me, that I do get my baseline tinnitus gets worse when the pressure changes. It's like the tone of it changes slightly because it's a bit stormy at the moment, but I tend to get it in my head with migraines with air pressure rather than my ears, although the tinnitus will get louder and quieter. But the other pitches that I hear aren't related as far as I can tell. And they are different in tone too, because my tinnitus is nearly always the same tone. It just varies in loudness, volume. And it's like, so that's how, like, this last year I've been able to tell it's different because it's been in a different place with a different tone or pitch that it doesn't normally have. Whereas like with the air pressure changes, aside from the fact that I tend to get a headache and a migraine at the same time, it's like it just makes it louder, the normal one. So I would say that's what made me start thinking that it was different, the other tones that we were hearing. So it could be. Because the air pressure changes, you would expect the tinnitus to change, wouldn't you, as well, as the air pressure sort of settles back down again. So
get terrible headaches when there's going to be a thunderstorm. I don't get any changes in the ringing. I get, like you said, these really bad pressure headaches when there's going to be a thunderstorm.
yeah,
but
that's
it doesn't
why
seem to have any effect on that, you know.
yeah, I have to admit the storms we've had in the last few weeks have been really hitting me hard. I mean, today that's why I don't know. See, my eyes are a bit weird, but it's like the air pressure changes today have been driving me crazy. My brain's not weird probably, so I'm to really focus right now. But it is, yeah. It always hits me in the head. It's quite curious actually, because these things you kind of take for granted because they happen to you throughout most of your life. You don't really. I mean, I've had tinnitus since I can't even remember. Probably most of my life, so you just assume it's there.
It's normal, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's
get
sort
on
of
with it, like.
Yeah, when you start questioning it, then you start thinking, oh, actually, you know, like
You
you say,
hear it more.
now. Yeah, so I've not only will I be monitoring the space weather for my migraines, I'll be like correlating it with like whether I've got different pitches in tinnitus. The biggest problem I've had with the frequency changes is, like you say, the ones where it feels like things are turning on and off and you don't have any other phenomenon that you could describe it to, is you can't prove it. Because it's like, you know, if they're turning things on and off and doing experiments or whatever, there's no way. I mean, I tried once, like looking up, like maybe it's they're turning CERN on and off or something, but it was really hard to find, you know, to find any information, because when I looked up, they were like, oh no, there's no experiments, you know, for CERN, and I was like, well, that doesn't mean they're not powering up and powering down and messing about with calibrations and stuff. So I thought, I've got no way of proving what this thing. It was driving me nuts. It was literally turning on and turning off, and it's like I was like, I just need to know what it is. It's yeah, so now, you know, we're going to be monitoring like the air pressure, the tinnitus, the frequency, the pitches, whether it's in one ear, the other ear. But no, it's interesting though. It's like I say, different. If they're all reacting to it differently with the tinnitus as well, it's yeah, it's quite an interesting, it's weirdly interesting.
It's weirdly interesting, yeah.
I'm like, stop the autistic brain from going down that rabbit hole. I need it. It's like, don't even go, because my brain starts to go. Yeah, we'll study the tinnitus sufferers of the UK. It's like, no, I don't know. Anyway, is there another question, Phil?
Yeah, there is. Let's have a look. Got another one from Rob. Let's have a look. Right, okay. Yeah, it's a long one. Okay, here we go. It sounds like the fellow who can smell, that's Chris, certain things that aren't smells has sympathesia. Yeah. I had it as a child. About 10% of the population has it, but it usually fades by the time they are 7. There are people who are adults that have it as well, but they're rare. I could taste pictures in books and smell the words that are printed. I think it's how I fell in love with my books. My sister was a particularly rare type and faded away by the time I was about 7 years old. And that's pretty much.
So yes, I smell. There's several colours that I smell. Pinks. They're all in the reds and oranges, by the way. And I can. When I'm very overloaded, and this is quite important because it doesn't happen all the time. It's when I get very bad sensory overload, I will see noise, and I can sometimes taste it as well, like
the
I can't even describe that. It's just like I wouldn't even know how to describe it. It's like almost like an electronic taste. It's the only way I could possibly even describe that. So yeah, I get them sort of things, and yes, I got them quite a bit when I was a child. I'd be reading and I'd get halfway through something and all the letters would turn blue or green, and I wouldn't be able to read anymore. You get like a big block of coloured letters in the middle that weren't really there, which would really, really distract me, and I wouldn't be able to continue reading then. It was and the billy goat thing, and I can tell you exactly where that come from. I've spent a lot of my working life on farms, working with livestock, and it's the first time that I smelt a colour. It was purple. It was the colour, when I say purple, like a electric bluey purple. And we were running sheep, and we actually used a goat, this billy goat called Gordon, and it was a white billy goat, and we trained it to be a Judas sheep. I know this sounds crazy. So you put Gordon on a chain, you walk it into a pen of sheep, and the sheep would just follow this. You wouldn't even have to do anything. You just get Gordon to lead the sheep. This goat was brilliant, and we were walking across it, and a billy goat has got a very unique smell. It urinates over itself. Nanny goats don't do that. They've got like a farmyardy sort of smell. A billy goat is purple. It's like purple. It stinks of purple. It's got its own really, really pungent, strong smell. And as we were running it one day, I got a whiff of Gordon. For God, no, I'd smelt him a million times, and it smelled electric blue. I swear to God, this is the only way I could possibly describe that. It smelled of it was like an electric bluey purple.
Interesting.
I remember the conversation me and Chris had early on when we met was I was recounting a recurring dream that I used to have as a child to Chris about being out in the garden and floating and kind of swimming about in the air, and it would be associated with this certain taste and smell. And I remember Chris says to me, "Did it taste square?" And I could never explain this taste, but as soon as he said that, I just instantly recognised exactly what he was saying, and it did taste square. It's the only way I could describe this taste, yeah, which is a very sort of strange way to understand things.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Mm.
They did that. I can't remember what it's called. I was reading it. I saw it the other day on Instagram. I think there was a TikTok reel, and they've got two words, and they said which shape goes with each word, and like 99% of people, like they were nonsense words, but something was like crank and baub or something, and everybody put the soft round squidgy shape with the baub sound, and the hard pointy sort of like angular shape with the other sound. And it's sort of, so that was like one of the best ways of explaining synesthesia to people that don't understand, that haven't thought about it or don't experience it. And it's like, so on some level we do kind of know that tastes and words are pointy. It's like, it's like all soft and so I suppose that's the closest you could get to sort of trying to describe to people what it's like. But it is funny when you say it, because you're like, oh yeah, actually that does make sense. Yeah, in a weird kind of way. So maybe we're missing certain dimensions of the world by the way we explain it, by not saying it was red and pointy and smelt like it.
I think our bodies we've got this world around us, but we've also got other worlds, and we're seeing more and more evidence of this. Our bodies can detect that. But we can't. It's the visual aspect of it, isn't it? Like we know that there is what we call ghosts or spirit. There is a spirit world, or there's NHI and stuff. And before we knew it, this is our bodies trying to detect that. It's reaching out, trying to detect something that we can't see is there, but it is there. That's how I feel anyway. That's how I feel. Like
It does make sense, because if we don't know how to describe it as well, it makes it a little bit harder. I mean, we could all be experiencing things in a slightly different direction, but because our words don't allow it, it's a lot harder to sort of like put the thing together and make it make sense. So
yeah, no, interesting. So I'm looking forward to Rendlesham. I really am, fellas. I've never been on a CE5.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good couple of days.
And I think one thing that's really going to be good, I think with Matt, I've got a feeling that Matt has got almost like I'm tagged, he's tagged. I think that whatever this entity is, that he's definitely got. I mean, looking at the man himself, I think, you know, I can feel that you've got some. No, honestly, I do. I honestly get a strong feeling that you have got I just get a very strong feeling that you have got something about you which attracts them. They've kind of tagged you, and I think what will be interesting is
kind of maybe some people sort of describe it as being an antenna. Maybe you're kind of able to tune into those frequencies that, you know,
there's an awareness
that we all
aspect
recognize
to
each other on somewhere. Yeah, you know, yeah. Who knows? I mean, I still have no idea. So
I think there's awareness aspect to it. You know, you're aware of it. There's a lot of people that are, oh yeah, they've heard of UFOs, or they've never, they're not aware of it, are they? They're not fully conscious of you know, these people they'll be looking for discs in the sky and, you know, conspiracy. So they wouldn't be looking within 5 or 10 meters of where they're standing for phenomena. They just wouldn't. So there's an awareness aspect to it. And the more you look, the more you see. And then the more you see, the more you look.
Yeah.
When I had those close encounters in that park, I was recovering from a heart attack just 3 months earlier, and I was going to the park every day to keep fit and keep my mental health on top. And you know, and what I would do is I would just appreciate the flowers and the trees and the animals and, you know, all the beautiful things in the park. And, you know, I was just getting a lot from that, and I was, you know, just absorbing it all. And I think I was just opening myself to just so much more that exists that we just can't see, you know, and that may have helped in some way, maybe, you know, I think it maybe amplified, you know, any vibes that I was maybe going off. But I think there's just so much we don't see, we don't know, but you just got to be open and, you know, just appreciate things around you, the natural world and things like that, and people and animals, and you know, and I think all that kind of helps to, you know, establish some kind of contact with these things. 100%.
And I think it'll be brilliant because everyone's going into this in a positive manner. You know, we're aware that something's there. We're aware that even though we're not entirely sure what it is, but we're aware that there is something there.
We're all experiencers.
But yeah, exactly. You know, we're not going to you know, going along to kind of like debunk the whole thing. We know we've all experienced. And I think what is going to be interesting is more so from my point of view, I can't help but in the location we're going to be in with the forest, I normally every time get some interaction from an entity in the forest. So that's where both with Matt from the lights and the UFO side of things, and from my side of things, hopefully, because I'll be keeping a radar on the forest line as well. just to see if there's anything which pops up on that side of things. So I've got trail cams, so I'm going to put out some trail cams in the forest around where we are, just sort of to see if anything is about. But I normally get a feeling, like Matt does. I get a feeling, and you know, I'm quite sensitive to cryptids and stuff. I can't help it. Always been the same. So it'll be an interesting time. We're going away for 2 nights, so it's about
Definitely
3
will,
days. So weather at the moment is a bit, I don't know, but yeah, pack some warm stuff. I've got
Good,
the
it's fine.
marshmallows, 2 big bags of marshmallows waiting, and I'll get us dinner. I'll get us dinner the first night. Okay.
Hey.
All right.
Should be great fun. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Do you drink beer? Do you like beer?
I haven't drunk for
I'm
years.
not a big drinker, but I'll have a can or 2. You know,
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be drinking it before the CE5, or maybe after. But I don't know if you need to kind of have your wits about you, and I think alcohol potentially does put them off.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't normally
other
drink
drugs, maybe
unless
not
it's
so, but,
orange flavored.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, that's it. I mean, you probably will need a drink if I
There'll be a
start
party
twerking in
after.
front
There'll
of
be
you. If I start twerking in front of you, Matt, then you probably will need.
We know
a
you've
can
had
of
some.
You go straight on TikTok.
That will attract some attention anyway. That's just not what
We'll put
necessarily
some
what
music to it, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap it now. I think we're good, and I'm going to have the raise the event. So people, please just follow the event, hit the interest button or the going button, and you are as important at home on this event as anyone of us that is going, because I think collectively, let's really try and get something moving. Let's try and get something to appear for us, you know. And like Matt said, collectively, and Chris, collectively, I think we can do this, you know.
We're going to try and land one.
Mm.
I want it stuffed on my mantelpiece.
That would be a new one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And other than that, have you got any final words, guys?
No, all good.
All good. Okay, Natalie.
No, I think we've covered everything.
Good to be on the show. Thanks for having us here, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Phil. Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah, no worries.
More than welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very
We'll
much.
see you in
seeing you.
Rendlesham, yeah.
I honestly do appreciate you coming on, and it's been just, you guys are great, and I am absolutely really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Cheers, Phil.